More details come out about the White House trying everything they could to put President Trump in jail. Senator Ted Cruz walks into a trap being interviewed by Tucker Carlson about Iran and Israel. I've got a lot of big stories, so we're going to jump in. I just want to say thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It helps me out more than you know. It's been a heck of a day. Our car broke down. I had to be towed. It's in the shop. Then I get to our place. There's no internet, but I'm up and running now, and I want to bring you guys the news. So thank you so much for always supporting the channel. New information out from investigative journal. There are FBI emails that reveal that President Biden, the White House, and specifically the Biden Department of Justice were absolutely obsessed with finding ways to go after President Trump to try to jail him for the rest of his life. The FBI was in on this. The DOJ was in on this. They were trying to put your favorite president in jail for the rest of his life. Every little thing they could find, they would make a news story about it, send communication about it, put out a hit story about it. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, I am proud to announce that Secretary of HHS, RFK Jr., and Dr. Jay are launching a new program to study the long-term health effects of the chemical spill in East Palestine, Ohio. Remember when that train full of forever chemicals got blocked and then Biden ordered it to be blown up and it put forever chemicals into the groundwater and into the air, and then they lied to people and said, everybody's safe, right? That's when they lost Ohio. Now it's come out, people are being poisoned. Our own government poisoned people in Ohio, and JD Vance has announced that the government is going to make sure that this is corrected and handled right. Okay, now there is a scary disease coming up from South America. No, it's not a new COVID vaccine or disease, but it's something that could affect the food supply, specifically farmers and ranchers. The U.S. government will be investing $8.5 million in a facility at Moore Air Force Base in South Texas to fight the New World screwworm. It's a flesh-eating parasite that attacks livestock, pets, wildlife, and even humans. Now, this is expected to come up into America because of the way that they're watching these migration patterns. And what they've decided to do, this is kind of brilliant actually, they're going to create a whole bunch of male screwworm flies that are sterile, and then they're going to have them go mate with the female screwworm flies. That way they'll be distracted, but then there will be no breeding that actually happens, and they're hoping that this will wipe out the cause as it gets closer to America. Now, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins announced an initiative which is designed to protect Texas's $15 billion cattle industry and fight this crazy infectious disease. In addition to that, the USDA will invest another $21 million to convert a Mexican fruit fly facility to produce these sterile screwworm flies. Pretty crazy, but it sounds like the government is on top of that. Meanwhile, in California, Governor Gavin Newsom continues to dodge accountability. He accused President Trump of making the wildfire crisis worse by pulling the National Guard from firefighting duties to handle the LA riots. Dude, you can't handle the fires. You also can't handle the LA riots. Who do you blame? Instead of yourself, you blame Donald J. Trump. Now, Gavin Newsom is begging for $40 billion of taxpayer money to clean up the problems that he is responsible for. Now, there are more fires happening in California right now, and I'm sure that's why he's freaking out. Well, maybe instead of spending $50 million to fight President Trump on every single issue, you use that $50 million to actually take care of the citizens of California. Now, this is just out today. While Gavin Newsom allowed the LA riots to rage with burning of cars, building, people being attacked, blocking traffic. He was online blasting Donald Trump, saying that Donald Trump was the reason that they were having so many issues. Well, check this out. Let me bring this up on the screen. It's now come out that while the LA fires were raging, while the LA riot fires were raging, that Gavin Newsom actually snuck away to a fancy wine tasting party in Napa Valley. Remember when I told you how his wife was so scared of the LA riots that she was caught going shopping at some of the most expensive stores in America? Well, her husband was right behind her. And now it turns out that he was just sipping wine, and everybody there was like, hey, Governor, shouldn't you be handling these LA riots? He said, no, it's fine. They'll get handled. But what he didn't know is that people were snapping photos of him to prove that it was a dereliction of duty. Now, let me know in the comments, what do you actually think about Gavin Newsom? I think he's screwing up California. Every 30 days, it seems that there's something massive that comes out, whether it's the high-speed train, the LA fires, the homelessness, the LA riots. Well, now, according to new data that came out earlier today, Gavin Newsom, this guy, there's no way that he's going to ever be president of the United States. This new report ranked 148 cities in the United States. 6 of the 10 worst cities are under Gavin Newsom's governorship. So literally 6 of the 10 worst cities in America are linked to Gavin Newsom. All right, now in a heated interview, Tucker Carlson clashed with Texas Senator Ted Cruz over the United States' involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict, exposing a rift among conservative voters. Military intervention grilled Ted Cruz for advocating regime change in Iran without knowing basic facts, like its 92 million person population. The exchange escalated when Cruz suggested the United States was carrying out military strikes. He quickly clarified, saying it's Israel doing this while the United States supports it. Tucker Carlson said, well, if we're complicit in these attacks, then we're guilty. We're just as guilty. Now, Tucker Carlson challenged Cruz's hawkish stance, questioning his reliance on biblical references like Genesis 12:3 to justify supporting Israel's war. Ted Cruz struggled to respond, drawing mockery from Tucker Carlson for his lack of knowledge. Now, the nearly 2-hour debate highlights the division in the MAGA movement. Tucker Carlson accused Cruz of being a warmonger and defending Israel and their bad behavior in Gaza. You can go and find that interview online. It was actually pretty uncomfortable to watch, if I'm being honest. All right, now in some international news, President Trump addressed reporters on the North Lawn of the White House. One of them actually asked him, hey, can you give us the details on when you're going to attack Iran? Listen to what President Trump had to say. This guy is such a comedian, and yet at the same time, he's the most available president in American history. Listen to this.
Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question. Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so.
Them for their stupid question. Can you tell us the details of when you're going to attack Iran? Like, why would I share our secret military plans so you can have cameras there? No, I'm absolutely not going to do that. Now, I genuinely believe that President Trump wants to avoid this war. However, now he's trying to negotiate with new people. And what I'm reading now is Khamenei, the head of Iran for like the last 4 Oops, looks like that went away for a second, but I'm back. Okay. Now, let me jump into this next story with you guys. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of spotty internet. Eric Trump went on the Sean Hannity show and basically reminded everybody that his dad has been saying that he would block Iran from getting a nuclear weapon for 10 years. So if you're new to MAGA, then sorry that you didn't go back and watch old videos, but he absolutely is committed to keeping America safe, defending Israel, keeping Israel from their bad behavior, but also supporting them in the strikes that they're making against a nation that harbors terrorists and pays and funds terrorism around the world, especially death to America. But let me show you what General Michael Flynn had to say. He gave some very good, I believe, military counsel to President Trump about this. This clip is a little bit long, but it was really, really good. So let me bring that up, and then we'll go ahead and we'll watch this together. Here we go.
J.D. Vance is somebody who is advising the president, is in his ear, and is in these meetings. Seems to be a very steady hand. Would you advise the president? What would you advise the president right now, given the circumstance with Iran? Would you advise him to strike Iran right now?
No, I wouldn't. I would wait to. The one thing that I know about warfare is that I can tell that the Israelis are on a very methodical and determined campaign, military campaign with a series of objectives, a series of phases, and they're likely into their, well into their second phase of this operation, of this campaign, from a military campaigning perspective. So I would, it's kind of like in warfare, Benny, the best plan has the most options right up to the last possible minute. So the president has to have all the options available. And if he decides to use them, he needs to know, when I make that decision, how long is that going to take to implement? When I make that decision, how long is that going to take? So he's got to have the timing and the sequencing and all these kinds of things in mind, and people around him. So I don't think right now is the time. I don't think right now is the time. I do, as I look at what the Israelis are doing, because Israel doesn't want army divisions and boots on the ground. What we all want, I want the Iranian people to rise up. And guess what? For those, because they'll listen to this, Benny. The Iranian people know that 50 years of existence under a dictatorship. The other aspect of what Trump's got to think about, and this is where J.D. Vance comes in very handily, it's to continue to pull on the president to make sure that he doesn't lose focus of why he was elected president of the United States. Back to something that you said, a while back there about where there's a nuclear weapon right here in this country right now, right? I mean, and there is. So I think that those steady hands around him, and I would say that Trump's probably one of the most steady because of the kinds of things that he's done. There are times when I felt like, God, I wish Trump would just, do this right now, something that he could have done inside the country, right? And that has to do with accountability, but another day. Because right now, the steadiness that he requires are those options that I just, we've talked about, and he needs to know the timing and the sequencing. So right now, I would say hold. I would say, no, just hold on that option. Let's see how the Israeli campaign continues to unfold, and let's see what the world is going to do, because NATO is going to try to pull Trump into the war in Ukraine, and what are we going to have? I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts. So that's nuts up there what we're doing, and over $500 billion we spent. The Chinese, with what the Israelis are doing, remember how much oil the Chinese pull through the Straits of Hormuz. And I said it this morning. That's a very devastating thing, as well as the tariffs. So there's some there's some boxing going on here. You know, if you think about a boxer who's in one stance and then changes the stance, right? Trump is able to be that adaptive in his ability because, frankly, the United States of America still has, and that's what I want. That's kind of how I want Trump to think. But I do want Trump to come out to the American people and tell us with some great clarity where parts of his head are, where America needs to be thinking. What are the objectives that he is still seeking, given the mandate that he was given by the American people? You know.
All right, so I thought that was really powerful. Do not strike right now. Support Israel, but let them finish what they're doing. Do not pull us into war. Remember the MAGA reasons why you were elected. And if you have to do something, then do it. Use the military, do it, and be done. Do not go into war, but know all of your options, because once you pull that trigger, you can't go backwards, right? Like, you can't predict what the consequences are going to be. But at the same time, being president of the United States requires that you make big decisions. Now, sadly, Iran hit Israel with a massive strike. It actually hit one of their civilian hospitals, injuring and killing many people. So just a really sad situation. Let me know in the comments, what do you want? Do you want what General Michael Flynn just said? It would be nice if Trump would open up a little bit more about what he's planning to do. You don't have to give us all the details, but fill us in on what you're thinking, because right now a lot of us are scared. A lot of us are in the dark. A lot of us are saying, wait a minute, I didn't vote for this. At the same time, I don't want the Death to America group to attack us. And do we support Israel in this, even though a lot of us don't like the way they've behaved in Gaza? So it's a tricky situation, but please, in the comments, let me know down below. Also, let me know, do you still support Trump? A lot of people are abandoning him. He hasn't even taken us to war yet. They're already abandoning him. They're calling him George W. Trump. They're mocking him online. It's kind of sad to watch how quickly people have abandoned him. Now, he's used to that. But like Eric Trump said on the Sean Hannity show, he's been telling this stuff for 10 years. So it might be new to you, but it's not new to Trump. And this is not his first rodeo being a president for a second time. All right, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for being patient. I know this is going out really late, but crazy day with the car breaking down, having to get a rental, having to be towed, and then dealing with no internet. Anyway, I love you guys. If you could, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.